On another note, in verses 6 to 8 of chapter 24 in the Exodus, Moses, his brother Aaron and Aaron's 2 sons, sprinkle blood on altars for the Lord, and sprinkle blood on people, for the Lord. And if you get bored, feel free to Google blood sprinkling in Bible. You will see over 300 instances of ritualistic blood sprinkling that exists in just the Old Testament. Blood worshipping is in every chapter of the Bible, and as I will show you later, blood is the favorite drink offering of the Lord. Does this sound like a god or a vampire? By the way, in verse 17, chapter 24 of Exodus, Lord Jehovah appears as a flaming cloud, and the glory of good old Jehovah was like a devouring fire. The glory of the Lord is always described as fire, and I will be giving you these verses as evidence in just a little while. And I did say, the glory of the Lord is always described as fire, as in what you see inside a furnace, as in hot, as in, take a guess. Now Moses does try to ask the Lord, Mr. Jehovah, to repent of his evil against the Hebrews, in Exodus, chapter 32, verses 9 to 12, because good old Jehovah was getting ready to barbecue some more Hebrews. But Jehovah gets the next laugh with Mr. Moses. Still in the same chapter 32 of the Exodus, Moses is tricked into getting all the humans to strap on swords and kill their own family members to become ordained under the service of the Lord, and these murders are a wonderful blessing. Exodus 32:26 to 29, Moses stood at the entrance to the camp and shouted, "All of you who are on the Lord's side, come over here and join me." And all the Levites came. He told them, "This is what the Lord, the God of Israel says, strap on your swords. Go back and forth from one end of the camp to the other, killing even your brothers, friends, and neighbors." The Levites obeyed Moses, and about 3,000 people died that day. Then Moses told the Levites, "Today you have been ordained for the service of the Lord, for you obeyed him even though it meant killing your own sons and brothers. Because of this, he will now give you a great blessing." The fun doesn't stop there. Inevitably, the big Jehovah cloud zaps and kills Aaron's 2 sons for playing with matches. Leviticus 10:1-2, Aaron's sons Nadab and Abihu took their censers, put fire in them and added incense, and they offered unauthorized fire before the Lord, contrary to his command. So fire came out from the presence of the Lord and consumed them, and they died before the Lord. Mr. Moses runs into some more complications in the mountains. In the book of Numbers, chapter 21, verses 6 to 9, it seems as though Mr. Jehovah forgets the "thou shalt not kill" law, and he sends fiery serpents against the Hebrews, killing many, until Moses makes a deal to erect a bronze statue of a serpent in honor of Jehovah. Numbers 21:6-9, and the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and much people of Israel died. Therefore the people came to Moses, and said, "We have sinned, for we have spoken against the Lord, and against thee. Pray unto the Lord, that he take away the serpents from us." And Moses prayed for the people. And the Lord said unto Moses, "Make thee a fiery serpent, and set it upon a pole, and it shall come to pass, that every one that is bitten, when he looketh upon it, shall live." And Moses made a serpent of brass, and put it upon a pole, and it came to pass, that if a serpent had bitten any man, when he beheld the serpent of brass, he lived. In the book of Numbers, in chapter 25, Mr. Jehovah has another temper tantrum, and between verses 1 and 9, Moses and his troops are commanded to slaughter humans for worshiping another god. And 24,000 lives ended. The "thou shalt not kill" thing, it was kind of meant to be a joke, I guess. Seems as though they really didn't take that law too seriously after all. Then, again in the book of Numbers, chapter 31, verses 7-10, the Hebrews kill all the Midianites, take women and children as captives, and destroy their cities with fire. As you can see, that "thou shalt not kill" law was a typo error. I think Jehovah wanted it to say, "Thou shalt kill, whenever I command." The trials move into the book of Deuteronomy. In chapter 7, the whole chapter, Jehovah commands the destruction of all other communities, and the killing of all humans that are found worshiping other gods. Read it for yourself. Then again, in the whole chapter 13 of Deuteronomy, good old Jehovah, once again, loses his temper, and instructs humans to kill even their own family members, if they are caught worshiping another god, and to also attack any town, and destroy all the inhabitants, if they worship a god other than good old Jehovah. Now in Deuteronomy, chapter 17, verses 2 to 3, seems as though anyone caught worshipping a god beyond this world, whether it be the sun or the moon, they are to be stoned to death. Jehovah has some serious insecurity issues, he might need help. If there be found among you, within any of thy gates which the Lord thy God giveth thee, man or woman, that hath wrought wickedness in the sight of the Lord thy God, in transgressing his covenant, and hath gone and served other gods, and worshipped them, either the sun, or moon, or any of the host of heaven, which I have not commanded, when you hear about it, investigate the matter thoroughly. If it is true that this detestable thing has been done in Israel, then that man or woman must be taken to the gates of the town and stoned to death. In Deuteronomy, chapter 20, verses 10 to 14, good old Jehovah offers the murderous minds of Hebrew tribes the right to keep women and children as spoils of war, and again, in Deuteronomy, now chapter 21, also in verses 10 to 14, it is determined that captives may become wives of the captors. This gets a little better yet, because the Hebrews like virgins. This can be found in chapter 21, in the book of Judges, verses 10 to 12, where everyone is killed, except young virgins, who were no longer little children, by the time they got back to the tents. So they sent 12,000 warriors to Jabesh Gilead with orders to kill everyone there, including women and children. This is what you are to do, they said. Completely destroy all the males and every woman who is not a virgin. Among the residents of Jabesh Gilead they found 400 young virgins who had never slept with a man, and they brought them to the camp at Shiloh in the land of Canaan. Now, I am willing to bet, within hours, they were no longer little virgins. Seems like Jehovah might not remember his own laws, and he obviously has a temper issue, as seen in First Book of Kings, chapter 14, verses 9 to 16, you have done more evil than all who lived before you. You have made other gods and have made me furious with your gold calves. And since you have turned your back on me, I will bring disaster on your dynasty and kill all your sons, slave or free alike. I will burn up your royal dynasty as one burns up trash until it is all gone. I, the Lord, vow that the members of your family who die in the city will be eaten by dogs, and those who die in the field will be eaten by vultures. Now Jehovah gets a wee bit angry, a few other times as well. As seen in the second book of Kings, chapter 19, verses 34 to 35, for I will defend Jerusalem, to save it, for mine own sake, and for my servant David's sake. And it came to pass that night, that the angel of the Lord went out, and smote in the camp of the Assyrians 185,000, and when they arose early in the morning, behold, they were all dead corpses. Thou shalt not kill? Then also in the book of Isaiah, chapter 13, verses 15 to 18, anyone who is captured will be run through with a sword. Their little children will be dashed to death right before their eyes. Their homes will be sacked and their wives raped by the attacking hordes. For I will stir up the Medes against Babylon, and no amount of silver or gold will buy them off. The attacking armies will shoot down the young people with arrows. They will have no mercy on helpless babies and will show no compassion for the children. Were there no psychiatrists to help the Lord in those days with this anger issue?